This is for Virginia Berry. You know, you get these state school boards.
Keystone Cops?
State school board. It's like an appendix. You just don't need one. Anyway, please continue.
Okay.
We're with Jody Underwood, by the way, talking about Croydon school choice. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. So the final thing that Chuck Douglas points out is that Virginia Berry failed to cite RSA 194.22, which permits districts to contract with other public or non-public educational institutions and appropriate money to carry out such contracts.
That's not important.
Oops.
Smackdown.
And
right?
it gets worse, right? Because, I mean, there are examples all over the state, not just in state, but contracting in other states.
In other states,
with
exactly.
private schools.
Exactly. And right, and she cited one law that says that we only can contract to schools that we have control. Oh yeah, except for those ones that are in other states.
Right.
Right? I mean, where do these exceptions end? And 194.2 mentions high schools. It doesn't say all of the following are high schools. High schools is the middle of three things. And I don't remember what the first one was. The third, I could pull it up if you want, but the third one says, or other literary institutions, not public, not private, other literary institutions, and not high schools of such. Now, the only ones that are in existence within New Hampshire are what's deemed public-private academies. So they're private schools that have private boards, but they follow all of the state rules for education. They do testing and, the whole thing. I forget the quality, teachers of, I forget what it's called, where they're certified at a certain level or whatever.
Highly qualified.
That's the word. Yes, highly. And let's put that in quotes, please. Because
oh yeah, I keep hearing that from my SAU that 97% of our teachers are highly qualified, and then I look at the kneecap scores.
right.
And in Guilford, we are not exactly a
Highly qualified to do what?
Well, I often wonder
Means they
about
pass
that
some
because
Highly
tests.
qualified to be a well-paid union employee.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, we can have another whole conversation about certification and what it really does, right? But we're not going to talk about that
No,
here.
that'll get us off a long
but
tangent.
essentially what she's trying to do is to say you will be absorbed into the state-level
Board collective.
educational industrial complex.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
And we are going to defend the union teachers by an artifact of what our ruling is. You can't be off doing your own thing.
That's
You will do as we say. This is the heavy thumb.
Frog march our children through our education monopoly.
And this is a nationwide problem, one way or another, whether they misuse No Child Left Behind or any other legislation, is there's supposed to be ways for kids to get out of the public school system and take their funding with them to charter schools, to Montessori schools, to whatever, especially if it's in the interest of the child and they're going to learn better. But in reality, the school boards pretty much across the country go out of their way to make it impossible for you to escape. The children are ours.
Well, and there is that entitlement mentality that I have seen and blogged about and have on video of teachers basically denigrating the parents, saying, we know what's better for your child than you do.
Right.
I mean, they have tipped the traditional relationship of the public servant to the public master, and you're getting a big dose of that right now at the state level. We know you could turn around, but you're not, because you're trying to say, let's keep the child first. You're doing exactly what I've been saying for years. Let the money follow the child, and let the parent be in charge of where the child goes.
That's right.
And that leads to the next thing I want to make sure we fit in. Now, you went out and you said, all right, hello, schools everywhere in New Hampshire. We have these students and parents who are looking for a place for their child to learn. Now, based on what I read, this had an interesting effect on tuitions in schools all around.
Some schools lowered their tuitions. Newport lowered their tuition.
They competed for your students.
They did. That's right. Isn't that awesome?
Public schools, private schools, charter schools. They said, money, students.
That's right. And
ka-ching, ka-ching. We want your kids.
But doesn't that go against a lot of what we hear in schools where kids should not be competing against themselves? So look at the hypocrisy when it comes to not academic achievement or recreational achievement, but when it comes to money coming into the district treasury.
It's all about money. It's all about money.
Well, there's an interesting monetary thing, which it's sort of an edge thing, but about the what's it called? The monopolist rent,
Well,
right?
I was going to go there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so go ahead.
Well, let's start with Article 83 of the New Hampshire State Constitution. The only place that they mention public education in the whole Constitution. And
You're forgetting about the lottery. There's two places. One says that lottery money will go to the schools.
You are right. I apologize. Yes,
That's certainly
lottery.
important
You
one.
got to love that. And that just displaces money, right? It doesn't. Anyway. But in Article 83, it says that the legislature and magistrate shall cherish, got to love that word, cherish seminaries and public education, along with a number of other things.
Seminaries
in
First.
public schools, yeah.
First.
Well, that's how most education started here in the U.S. with private religious
That's
institutions.
Right. All the public schools were religious too, by the way.
And the
back
colleges,
then.
Harvard,
That's right.
Yale, all started off
Dartmouth.
as divinity
That's
schools.
right. Yep.
What happened?
Well, you know what? I had a conversation with somebody at the Institute for Justice just last week.
Oh, cool.
About this.
I
got the history.
Oh, this is. She said the 3 words, Institute for Justice. I love that.
We may need to squeeze that in. We have like 4 minutes.
Oh, no.
And you can stick around. I mean, the last segment's open, and we're going to talk about some gun stuff, and we want to keep talking about this. But just go ahead, and we'll get to that.
I guess this is a long story. Oh, my
It
God.
sounds like it could be.
We'll have to have you back.
Great. Well, so Article 83, later on, just to quickly get to it, talks about why they're in the same article, I don't know, but you can't have monopolies. Public schools being like the biggest monopoly. Like that part I just don't understand.
De facto.
Yeah.
Ingrained.
You must do it our way. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
In a world where everything else is going decentralized.
Yes, and there is a movement in the country, all around the country, for school choice. Vouchers is a big one, where the money really does follow the kid. It can even go to religious schools because the parents think that's best. That makes so much sense.
And that's really kind of what we have here in Croydon, right? I mean, what you've uncovered, and with the sanction of the state school board up until Virginia Berry, was that, yes, you can make agreements with any school you want the way you've done it,
right?
Which is school choice,
right? So, and I know we're short on time here. So, what's happened since this letter went to them? We have gotten no response. We specifically said, please respond to the lawyer in some way or another, but she hasn't. She's spoken with the superintendent a couple of times, and even to the union leader, and has indicated that they want to compromise with us. That they are talking to community members. Only the superintendent it's the only community member she's spoken to, as far as I know. And
the
they
only
want
person we think we can manipulate.
Maybe
the only one who has a license is state.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So they want to compromise. The compromise we understand, again, not in writing yet, but what we hear is that they would like the Newport Montessori. They would like to, this is great, turn them into a charter school. Now,
what?
Yes, that's what, and they have no interest in becoming a charter school, by the way. But
We have these.
But there's apparently a law that says if you're a private school, you cannot directly become a charter. You can close and then become a charter. Virginia Berry has said that she would make that happen quickly, so they don't have to.
She obviously
close.
has a phone and a pen,
so she can, right? She can bend some laws, right, but not ones that are actually within the law.
Only
She
if
can't
we
allow
let
those
her.
to happen, right? So that's not going to happen.
And I got to tell you, excuse me, I don't know if she knows what she's talking about, but if you spend even 5 minutes cruising the school choice interwebs of New Hampshire, she's out of her mind. These people are going to come down on her like a ton of bricks. She's going to be gone. There's way too much political pressure to be brought to bear against elected officials who will then say, Virginia, go work in another state. You know? She doesn't know what she's doing, which is fabulous.
As much as, though, a Democrat governor will try to protect that, if this Democrat governor that we have right now wishes to run for a higher office, she understands that she has to get Republican voters to vote for her. She can't do it all on her own, or the mushy middle, as they oftentimes call it. And a lot of those folks, this is the iPad, Apple generation that, we're not going to kowtow to convention. Even the new convention of the unconventional, or however many recursive ways we want to go about this.
Right. I got a little tidbit for when we come back. Did you know that one of the better market choice school districts in the country is San Francisco?
Wow, did not know that.
No.
Wow. Those crazy
socialists.
Well, they are,
but not in school choice.
Not in school choice.
They have a base budget that covers a principal and a clerk. and they have a per student allocation. And if you attract more students, you get more money.
Yeah,
There's no dictated staffing ratios or anything of the sort. You get paid per student, and you staff accordingly.
Nice.
Sort of like New Orleans.
Well, anyway, when I read that, I was like, I'm like ready to call my school board.
Good, do it.
And I'm trying to get people. That's why I wrote that watchdog, and it was very well received there. A lot of people read it, and I want to keep pushing it back out again and again and again, because people in New Hampshire need to understand that they aren't trapped anymore, and we really want to keep following this story to see what. Obviously, they have to do something,
right.
And I think my first thought was that they were going to kind of go, all right, well, we'll work it out because we don't want any more media because people will find out they can do this.
Right. So we would like other towns to do the same thing. Note that the law does not only does the law not say we can't do it, it also says we can. And so other school districts should realize that they can do it and that it is best for the students, and they have to start doing it.
All right, we got to go back. We'll be right back. I'm blah, blah, blahing. See you in about 3 minutes.
Rock Talk.